I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment. I don't expect to be forgiven. I'm simply here to apologize. In all seriousness, I had a bit of a JDM overload and I needed a bit of time to reevaluate my existence. Where do I begin? I guess let's start with all the good that came by over the last few years. I was able to procure some of my favorite JDM cars like the R32 GTR, the two RX-7 FD3Ss and the MR2 SW20. I was also able to build a strong following on YouTube and on Instagram. Bringing the cars in was truly a difficult task, but it was also worth it and had a lot of heartbreak and joy that came into my life. At the time of procuring these vehicles, I was heavily involved in cryptocurrency, and it gave me a lot of hope in, well, making me think that I would be able to own more JDM cars like the Honda NSX, the Mitsubishi GTO, and many others. With the fall of cryptocurrency prices and the rise of JDM car prices, it became apparent to me that, well, it would be likely that I wouldn't be able to pick up any more JDM cars. This was one of the factors that drove me to have a mini JDM meltdown, if you may call it that. The second attribute to my absence would have to be the failing parts and negligence on my end when it comes to working on the cars. I expected these cars to be bulletproof due to, well, all the hype that's been around them, all the YouTube videos out there, but they're well aged and the problems do come with the territory. Most of you guys know I spent weeks trying to troubleshoot the silver RX-7 with Jason in the UK and many others that tried to help me, and it landed up being low to minimal voltage on the leading coil pack end. I ran a jumper to that coil pack directly from or to the battery, and the car came alive. It just instantly came alive and I was really happy with the whole thing. Then a week or so later I tried to move it to the garage, the battery was low and I landed up flooding the car again. So I was a little bit bleak, upset about that whole scenario. Pushed the car out, I didn't feel like deflooding it for the 47th time during all the testing. And pushed it out and I was ready to get the GTR in the garage. The GTR has, or had, a standard plastic radiator, which it was doing the job. I mean, there was nothing wrong. My temps were always low. I couldn't complain, but it obviously old. And it cracked and it broke. Now that wasn't a major issue at all. The issue was that I purchased a rather large 52mm radiator and it was an absolute ball ache to fit. And I'm not going to deep dive into it, but basically I had to remove the entire viscous fan setup. I had to remove the studs on the water pump, remove the pulley off there, remove the belt off there, remove some of the intercooler piping so I could get to everything. And it was just ridiculous. It was just, I mean, I've seen people just drop in smaller, like 42mm, 38mm into radiators and with ease, and I made the mistake of going bigger because I didn't do my research and my homework before. Anyway, it pissed me off. I managed to get it done. It's in. I haven't had a chance to enjoy the car, but it is in. And there was no other way to do it. I had to do it that way, much like I explained. Around the same time, I decided to drive the black FD to work, and I noticed something scary. When I was coming up to stop streets, the oil pressure was going down to 0, which can only mean bad oil pump. And because it's an automatic, I can't keep the revs up at a stop street. I have to put it into park or neutral, and I mean, that's not the way I want to drive the car. So that kind of like added to everything. And while all of this was taking place, the MR2 was lying in pieces because I had it resprayed a little while ago, and I decided, well, that I was going to work on everything else before I do the MR2. Then I had all these issues, and I was a bit bleak with everything. And at this time, I already decided I'm not going to be filming because I'm not like right up here, and it's kind of like added to all my frustrations. Then I decided, let me put all the mechanical stuff like the RX-7 and GTR, everything aside. And actually on the timeline's a bit wrong here. This was in between fitting the radiator, and I also didn't have much time to install it. But anyway, the MR2, I got someone to respray it, but they didn't do the polishing. I was supposed to be doing the polishing. I've never done it before. My old man was helping me out with that, and he gave me some cutting paste, he gave me the right polish, he gave me a big machine, looked like an angle grinder, huge one, with like a mutton cloth, I think that's what you call it. And anyway, I did the whole wet sanding thing with like 1500 grit on the fenders, with water obviously, and the fenders came out really good. I did the 1500 cut, sand, then cut, then polish. Came out great. Then I did the bonnet, and this is, yeah, didn't use enough water. The water was running down too quickly, and I scratched it heavily. I didn't notice that at the time. I cut it, then I polished it, and I was like, holy crap, this is bad. It's repairable. I just need to go like a 2000 grit, then cut it and polish again. But the problem is, it's time consuming. And this is kind of like the last straw. It's the straw that broke the camel's back. And I genuinely had a JDM breakdown. At this stage, I cut off all links to social media. I ignored all my JDM friends that I've met along the way, and I'm really sorry, guys. I stopped searching for JDM cars on secondhand websites like Gumtree, OLX, etc., whatever we've got here locally. This was a daily routine for me, and it was kind of hard to break, but you know, cold turkey is the best way to get over addiction. At least that's what worked for me. I did have a nicotine and alcohol addiction at some stage. I stopped viewing JDM cars, and then I'd also distanced myself from looking at online parts for sale. I go through Yahoo auctions and I look for HK's parts, Apexy, Gritty, you name it. And I had to kind of stop all of that. I focused my life on family, my home, and myself. You know, the last 2 months has been, well, refreshing, and it was much needed after a long grind over the years. I've been wanting to film this for about a week or so, but I just wanted to make sure that I was truly ready. And I also want to just thank everybody for their support. Whether you're a subscriber, a friend, anyone, even if you just log onto the channel and pick up some random video and drop a comment, good or bad, just want to thank you. I'm grateful for everything, and I'm also blessed to have a fan base that has been caring enough to just ask me that question. Hey, are you ever coming back? Are you okay? Thank you. My 2020 vision. I'm going to be putting a lot more time and effort into these sit-down type videos. I've got my little setup behind me. It's makeshift. It's actually my wife's computer. My computer's in front of me. A little bit of a better gaming setup, but I mean that works. I'm waffling again. I'm going to be doing some more sit-down videos, more than what I did in the past, and that's going to be looking at JDM auctions, local cars for sale in South Africa, local JDM cars obviously, some rare JDM parts that I've been able to find along the way, how much they sold for, what were they going for, that sort of stuff, and perhaps a few educational videos on random makes and models and those sort of things. And then I'll still be doing my DIY vlogging, and I'll certainly be doing some more vehicle features in the future. Till then, I want to thank you guys so much for watching and supporting the channel. Hope you've all had a good festive season and are ready to see my stupid face again in 2020. Peace.